how do you go about when you create music? Like, you hear it in your head first, or do you just have to listen to certain things and then? Because like when I'm a filmmaker, I'll watch a movie and go, "That was a great idea. They executed it improperly. I could do it better." And then I go and I make my own version of it, and that's how I kind of come out with it. But to be truthful, when I'm writing, my ideas stem from music. So like that is my bottom floor. Like I get my ideas while I'm listening to music. So I'm curious how you create music, because it's not, I don't know if you listen to music to create music, or do you pull from other places, or how does that process work?
So, oh man, so it's kind of a couple of ways. Also too, it's a little different when you're writing for yourself or like as a solo person versus writing for a band. Because like when you're writing for a band, you basically have to keep it very stripped down because everyone's going to have their input at some point. And so you don't want to like, unless you're like a, type A.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, like you said, like music influences your writing, and it's kind of like for me, like if I watch a movie or even like a day I've had, like what was it? There was one day here in Georgia where it was like 90 degrees and it was 5 a.m. or something like that. And so like I literally woke up and wrote one of my metal songs, and the title was 90 degrees at 5 a.m. because we woke up in a bad mood, and I was like, all right, let me tune my guitar down and get some heavy drums and like, just get it out.
So is it kind of like jazz, like where you just kind of riff and then you find something?
Yeah, so that's kind of how I've been. The most recent release, I did 3 releases like simultaneously for some reason. But that's kind of how these have come together, where I basically like lay down the initial track. So I might start with the rhythm or the melody first, and then I'll just kind of like make a 5-6 minute version where like I play it out and just kind of noodle on it. And then I might do another one where like, okay, I like this part. Let me just use that as the verse now, and then see how that goes. And then just kind of keep building on it. And then most likely stripping 80% of that away. And then the final thing is what you hear.
Cool.
So it's literally just like writing.
It's a lot like writing. Like, where they, was it like the editing is actually the writing part? It's absolutely that.
How much, like percentage wise, how much would you say that you end up like editing out or stripping away when you get to like a finished song?
I feel like the more I'm doing it, it's like, it's a lot more, because I don't know how much of the older stuff you guys listen to, but like I used to have a habit of like every idea I had, I'm gonna throw it in. You know what?
Yeah.
Every measure is gonna be like a kind of different drum pattern just because I can, and like all this stuff. But the thing is, like, I have to start thinking about it. Like, if I put this song on at a party, would people stop and be like, "Can y'all turn this shit off?" And like,
I gotcha. Yeah.
which
That's true.
There's a lot of music like that I enjoy. Like, I love Primus, but if you were in a room with your family and you put Primus on, they'd probably tell you to turn it off, right? Like, Frank Zappa, same thing. So it's been,
for sure.
Yeah, and I love him.
I know what you mean.
But I'm trying to make things that people enjoy and that I enjoy. So yeah, like, it's a lot more pulling away, because every idea, it's almost like what's not there is just as important, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like that's something I'm actually having to learn in writing comics right now, is that I want to, like right now in Trailer Park Warlock, I'm kind of going, I've been having this balance between going like too into Frank Zappa zone, where it's like everything gets incorporated and it's this big messy thing, and sort of learning, like going through that process of like stripping away stuff so I can get to clearer, more concise, clearer, more concise beats. And so like, I really like what you're saying there, because in some ways I feel like that's sort of a process that all artists go through, because like as artists we want to incorporate everything around us, and something that I really enjoy and appreciate by watching like you and your work is like you're kind of doing that in a way, in the sense of you're doing a bunch of different art forms, right?
Yeah.
And I imagine, I don't know this, but I imagine being able to work, because you also work in different genres too in terms of music, and also in terms of like everything else. But like when you're working different genres, does that require different sort of thought patterns, or is it kind of like, do they somehow sync up in ways that I wouldn't necessarily know?
No, there's stuff that overlaps for sure. Like learning how to mix, kind of the same principles apply to every genre.
Yeah.
You know, like if you found a good producer and you're like, hey, I need my album mixed, and he did country, he could do your metal album and probably get it sounding good. But one of the biggest things I learned is I used to try to genre hop and not really be successful at it. But like BPM kind of dictates what style you're in, which is beats per minute.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's like such a simple thing, but once that unlocked, it's like, oh, I'm trying to do like a dancey thing right now, so it needs to be like 120 to like 118. Or if we're doing metal now, it needs to be 140 and up. Or trap is 140, and you know, R&B is like 60, 75, and like a lot of the speed is what dictates what you're feeling.
That's really cool. I hadn't really thought about that. So BPM sort of becomes your format, or like to use a cross analogy, sort of the way your paneling works on a page.
Yep,
basically.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And this is a weird thing, but comics is still like the center of my like universe. So even when I'm doing my graphic design stuff, like layout is laying out your panels. Like it's literally the same principle, same. You're trying to control the pace that people look at things and like where they look. Like it's all the same.
That applies right to a screenplay too. When I'm looking at something and I'm like, okay, I've got this many pages, and I've got to hit this beat by this page. And if I don't hit it on that number, then I'm off. Like I need to condense things, I need to combine, or otherwise I'm off. If I don't hit that 110 page mark, I could give it to a producer and it'll be 111 pages, and he'll be like, "Why did you give me this shit? It's supposed to be 110." And It's a big deal.
It's everything, and I feel like there's always like exceptions, but
sure,
for the most part, not really. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
you need to kind of earn that clout, I think, in order to be able to break the rules. You need to have like monstrously demonstrated that you can execute them as many times as you want to in your sleep before you start breaking shit.